Answering a question from Facebook, a friend asked, how do we face death well? And of course, there's two aspects to this question: how to face the death of other people well, and how to face our own death well. It's been an important subject for me. My dad passed away in 2015, and my mom passed away just this last May. And I got to hold space with both of them for a number of weeks, a couple months before they died, knowing that they would die. And the great gift in that was that they accepted that it was their time. They didn't want to hold on to life. And let's face it, we're all going to die. Our time is going to come. And is it really worthwhile to squeeze a few more painful years out of yourself if you can twerk the medical technology just right? What happens if you surrender to this natural process? If you, through your spiritual practice, know that we live beyond our body, then it's much easier to accept death. My dad, I felt it was really important not to bullshit him and to let him know where he was. And I knew in his heart that he was ready. So he had cancer. Every night I'd sit with him in the skilled nursing facility, and had dementia. So he could remember things from day to day. He knew who I was. So I said, Dad, I'm going home. I'll see you tomorrow. He was going home, son. Why don't you just stay here with me? I go, Dad, you're in the hospital, and I can't stay in the hospital with you. Maybe I could, but there was no provision for that. He goes, I'm in the hospital. Am I sick? I go, Dad, you're sick. You have cancer. Cancer, is it bad? I go, yeah, Dad, you're not going to make it. Family's just going to be here with you every day, all day, and until the end. He goes, well, how old am I anyway? I goes, Dad, you're 94. He goes, 94? That's plenty old. I'm ready to go. I've had such a great life. I had such a great family. I'm grateful. I could go now. And I had that discussion with him every night almost. And at first it was edgy to go there with him. In the end, I knew how he really felt, and I knew it was going to go that same way. And I share it with you because I just think it's touching. Even though he wasn't a deeply, like, in his mind, spiritual person, he had the heart and the wisdom for that. In fact, he used to be a star sports player, and he had a master's degree. And then now he was not able to get out of a wheelchair, and I said, Dad, remember you used to be the star athlete, and now you can't get out of your wheelchair. And you have a master's degree, but you can't remember what day it is. But isn't there a part of you, this part of you that's I'm talking to right now, that's always been the same, always the center of your awareness, always in the heart of the feeling of you? Yeah, he recognized that. Yeah, that's your soul. You're not going to lose that. That's what you're going to take with you. So I think personally, if we are in touch with that part of us that we can take with us, knowing we don't have to cling to every second of this life, then we can accept dying. I have a workshop I do at some festivals, and there's a blog on my website called shamanic death and rebirth. It's like a homeopathic ayahuasca ceremony where I take a cup of water, call in the spirit, play some chill music, resonant music, and you go through your life, make peace with your life. Thank all the people who have been a part of making who you are. And that could be difficult people even, part of what you went through to become who you are. Thank them. And whatever you can forgive in there, you're gonna, as if you're gonna leave the planet today. Can you forgive and be at peace with your life? So one way to be good with death is make peace with your life and know when to surrender. Like, you can't always get somebody that's got some terminal illness to recognize that, okay, I'm going to die. I accept this. But sometimes you can give them a chance and support them in their need to try and heal if that's what they want to do. But also be open to that if it's you, can you come to terms with this is it and surrender to it? Can someone else recognize that this is their final taxiing into takeoff position for the next life and embrace it? As somebody supporting them in that, really support it. Don't try to hold on to people, go, no, you can't die. No, you shouldn't die. Oh, this is terrible. This is tragic. Well, it's life, like, it's going to happen. When you come into this world, it's very painful. Mom's worst pain ever, and you're crying, and people don't, like, bemoan birth. Death is birth to the next life. And what if you make it beautiful? What if you bring a lot of love into it? What if you take the opportunity to bring the summation of life and love and gratitude to the person that's having to let go of this life, and to yourself as well? What if death is, a beautiful thing that, yes, we're afraid of, but to be embraced as such an important aspect of our existence? And some may say, like, but people, they die in accidents, they get murdered, all kinds of things happen, and we don't know what our life path is and where we're going from here. Maybe somebody has an appointment. I had a friend whose daughter had kidney failure, and we fought and raised donations for a kidney transplant, and I went in a medicine ceremony and felt into healing this, and the answer I got from deep within was, she's going to die because she needs to be my friend's mom in her next life, and she's got to kind of leapfrog him to do that. And I couldn't tell him that, at least yet. And so we helped with the kidney transplant, and yes, it didn't work, and eventually she left her body, and it was a karmic pattern of support and love and family evolution that went into the whole process. But was it a tragedy? On one hand it is. On the other hand, maybe she will be his mom in another life. So recognize there's a perfection to things, and that really everyone is going to be taken care of beyond this life. So yeah, I don't wish anyone a painful death. Sometimes painful deaths are us not letting go. Like, you leave your body when you've made peace with leaving your body, and sometimes it's because it's been beaten out of you by, like, months of pain. Or sometimes you can go because your body has a process of shutting down that it has its own wisdom about. My dad, for instance, he had metastasized bladder cancer. He chose not to treat it, and it was really something to watch. His body, naturally, he'd lose his hunger, and then his body would be feeding on itself, and in the end he'd lose his thirst, and his body's energy was getting drawn within, and it was really not very painful. And it was good to study materials on hospice, so we knew the discomforts that he would have with like a dry mouth and that sort of thing, and how to care for somebody who's dying. But also recognize that the body has its own dying mechanism that sometimes with too much medical intervention we suffer from the treatment more than we would if we allowed the process to take effect. So just another aspect of the question to consider is like, try not to make death the enemy, even if you're going to resist it. Someday you won't be able to. So use discernment in how to approach your own death and the death of anyone you might be wanting to support. And if they're going to die and can accept that, then work at making it a beautiful, supported experience of being ushered beyond this body to the greatest adventure of this lifetime.